For our test on the 10th of December, we have three topics. The first topic is Knisat HaShabbat. When does Shabbat start? And the different ideas that are behind that. The second topic is, is Hadlakat Nerot and all the halachot that are connected to that. And the third topic is Kiddush, which we're still in the middle of, but the only part that you need to know is the parts that we actually learned already. The first source we learned was Rabbi Eliezer Melamed in his book Pninei Halacha, where he discusses what is the day in Judaism. When does the day begin? And we learn from a pasuk. Shen Ne'emar means we learn it from a pasuk. This is the pasuk by when Hashem created the world, Bereshit. Vayivoker Yom Echad. There was evening and then there was morning. So that's how we assume the day goes. It starts in the evening and ends and continues in the morning. That means that everything Jewish, like Shabbat, like Yom Tov, like Chanukah, begins at night and not in the morning. That's how we define a 24-hour day. The only problem is we don't know exactly. It's a safek. Histapku, it says here. We're not positive when this evening begins. Matai b'diuk matchil halayla. Is it from shki'ah, which is sunset, when the sun sets? Shokat, hashchama, or shemesh, shokat, it sets, and you can't see the sun anymore. Or is it from when it actually gets dark, which we call Tzeit HaKochavim, when three middle-sized stars, Kochavim Beinonim, appear in the sky. That's when Tzeit HaKochavim happens. But which one is called night? And that's a doubt. We're not sure what is called the beginning of the night. Besides that doubt, there's also a machloket, a disagreement, as to when we consider three stars being out. When is Tzeit HaKochavim? When is it considered actually dark? We know when the sun sets. You could look that up and you could just see it. But when do we consider it Tzeit HaKochavim? So in Eretz Yisrael, many consider after 20 minutes, Esrim Dakot, that after sunset, okay, that is called Tzeit HaKochavim. And different places have different times. Here in America, many assume it's 42 dakot after Shkia, Acharei Hashkia, after sunset. That is Tzeit HaKochavim. But again, it's a debate. And you need to know that in Eretz Yisrael, it's about 20 minutes. Here in America, we assume it's about 42 minutes after Shkia. That is Tzeit HaKochavim. Because we're not sure what is considered nighttime, is it Tzeit HaKochavim when it's actually dark outside, excuse me, or is it Shki'ah when it's sunset? Which one is considered actual nighttime? We have a time between sunset, Bein Shki'at HaChama L'Tzeit HaKochavim. That's called a time of safek. We don't know whether that's the evening. The name for that time between Shki'at HaChama, sunset, and Tzeit HaKochavim, when it's actually dark, is called Bein Hashmashot. Again, the words Bein Hashmashot refer to a certain time in the evening, the time that's between Shki'ah, between sunset, and Tzeit HaKochavim. Again, that's about a 42-minute period. In America, we assume. In Israel, they assume it's a 20-minute period. According to halacha, lehalacha, b'chol mitzvot min Torah, whenever you have a mitzvah that's deoraita, that is from the Torah, and that includes Shabbat, we follow the rule of sfeika deoraita lechumra. When you have a safek, a doubt regarding a din Torah, you have to be more strict. You have to be machmir. This is a phrase you need to know. And therefore, we start Shabbat at Shkiah, and we end Shabbat after Tzeit HaKochavim, so that on Friday, Yom Shishi, if this is Shkiah, if this is sunset over here, we start Shabbat here, meaning we actually start 18 minutes before that, but we have to start Shabbat here. You don't have a choice but to start Shabbat here, and we end Shabbat on Saturday after Tzeit HaKochavim. And that time between candle lighting, which is 18 minutes before sunset, and Tzeta Kochavim, which is 42 minutes later in America, we assume, on Saturday. That's why Shabbat is actually not 24 hours, but 25 hours. Because of this safek, because of this doubt, because we're adding 18 minutes before sunset and another 42 minutes at the end of Saturday, because that is Bein Hashmashot, that is Safek Yom, Safek Laila. We're not sure how to categorize that. So we add to the Shabbat. Because of Sfeika, Deoraita, Lechumra, because of that doubt, what to do, and it's a Din Torah, it's a Din Deoraita, we go strict. As I said, we start Shabbat 18 minutes before Shkia, before sunset. That is because there's a special mitzvah, lehosif mechol al hakodesh. We start Shabbat early. We add from the chol, from a weekday, and we make it holy. That is called Tosefet Shabbat, and you need to know that phrase. Tosefet Shabbat is the adding of 18 minutes to Shabbat. And there are different opinions that how much you have to add. We add 18 minutes. This adding to Shabbat, mar'eh, it shows that we love the Shabbat. Shabbat is beloved to us because we don't want to just have Shabbat from the beginning to the exact end. We want to add to it to show that we love it. Just like when we have guests and we don't want them to leave. We walk out and we walk them to the taxi. We don't just say, okay, bye, and then just let them go. We don't do that. That Tosefet Shabbat have different minhagim, different customs. In America, as I said, we add 18 minutes. Artzot Habrit is America. So in America, we light candles 18 minutes before Shkia, before sunset. In Yerushalayim, they add 40 minutes to Shabbat at the beginning of Shabbat. 40 minutes before sunset, they light candles. We don't do that in America. When are you allowed to start Shabbat? That is a good question. That is the rule of Plag HaMincha. Plag HaMincha is a time about an hour and a quarter before sunset. This is what's called Mincha Ktana. We learned about Mincha Ktana regarding the last test, that you're not allowed to have a big meal after Mincha Ktana, which is 9.5 hours into the day. Now, the midpoint between Mincha Ktana and Shkia and sunset is called Plag HaMincha, the halfway of Mincha, from Mincha Ktana till sunset, till Shkia. And that's an hour and a quarter. Hour's manit, it's not exactly an hour, but we're just going to call it an hour before sunset, before Shkia. You're not allowed to start Shabbat before Plag HaMincha. That's the earliest you can start Shabbat.